In a world that teaches us that you are not good enough, I mean, this is the point of advertising. You are not complete unless you wear this brand, buy this brand, go to this place, vacation, look, your living room looks like this. Even your smile is a certain way on Facebook. Everything is telling you you're not enough. And then on top of it, it feels at times like the world is just turning inside out and doing all kinds of things to you. You're like, really, God? Do I need this too? Really? Seriously? Thank you. Thank you. Some people just accept it. Oh, that's God's will. No, God's not going to give you something you can't handle. But it's true, I think. You know, I'm not God, obviously, and I don't know His will. I certainly don't know it for you because I barely know it for me, honestly. Other than we're supposed to be happy and productive. We're supposed to do good things. It's amazing to me how many things our body does that reinforce good things. You exercise, you feel better. It creates endorphins that all of a sudden your mood goes up. You go serve people, it does the same thing. It rewards you for doing the good things. It's an amazing system. I don't know how anybody can say that there is no God. But we're not here to have passive acceptance. Yeah, well, I'm never going to make it, and, well, that's God's will. No. No, I mean, we have to accept the things that we can't change, but we also have to look at the things we can change. This is one of the reasons I have a hard time sometimes with this job, because I'm telling you a lot of the things that you can't change. I mean, you might be able to change them with the election, but that's not where you're going to find your answers. You're not going to find them in the next politician. And so I feel defeated sometimes because I feel like I'm not giving you any answers that are worth anything at all. But then again, we all affect each other's lives. We're all here for a reason, and it's spiritually healthy to remember that we don't have the final say or we don't control the final outcomes. Sometimes our best efforts fail. Sometimes our best intentions are for nothing. Sometimes our prayers are answered in the negative. But it's also important to spin things around and maybe think that things aren't being done to you, but perhaps if we just look at life and saying, this is happening for me, it will require sacrifice and suffering and faith and everything else. But maybe if we choose to see it in a different light, we'll be better. If we're hungry, maybe we feed the poor. We care for the orphan. We protect the widow. We love the stranger. If we're in such a bad, dark place, wouldn't it make it easier for us to see others in that place and relate to them unlike anyone else can relate? Over the holiday, I thought of faith being an active thing to do the job that we feel God has given us. And if it's good and it lifts people, if it builds and not destroys, it makes things better. It's probably God's will, especially if you don't want to do it. It's definitely. But it doesn't have to be active outside. It needs to be active in us. We survive. We make it. And it makes future generations smarter and stronger, should we choose. My addiction, my abuse to alcohol and everything else, all the bad things, it turns out I can break the pattern of generational addiction, abuse. I can break that pattern. But more importantly, perhaps in some ways that happened for me. At least that's the way I interpret it. So I can relate. I can help. Whatever is happening in your life is happening for you, at least in part. In a world where babies get sick and die, a drunk driver will leave you in a lifelong coma. Hamas can do what it did on October 7th. God's not to blame for anything and everything. There is human evil. God built a world where we all have free choice for good or for evil. And all of our actions have consequences, and we focus on the evil. But he made us able to choose what to make of all of this. Maybe all of the things that are happening, I mean, I don't know if anybody else has felt this way, but it's all broken. The principles aren't broken. What we've done to the principles. We just started building houses on the beach. We're like, yeah, I understand. Yeah, no, I understand, the concept of a strong foundation, but I'm going to build it here on the beach. That was our choice. And now we're just reaping the consequences of those choices. But perhaps as we all share this pain and this path, we can be somebody else's opportunity. If we choose our tragedy, our lives can happen for us and others as well, and no longer just to us.